country. Partly maybe because I'm from developing countries, so the condition in my country may be different from your country. So perhaps you at least give you maybe 10 minutes of my talk and give you an idea how we use the guideline in my country, and also how we can contribute the guideline in my country as well. For those doesn't know where I am from, so here is Thailand, which is in the Southeast Asian country, close to Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos. Okay, and of course, you know that the purpose of the IPCC guideline is for the National Greenhouse Gas Inventory. We do calculate the greenhouse gas inventory in the second national communication, but the second national communication in developing country indicate in the year 2000 as the base year, but actually we use the guideline more than that. So we estimate from the base year in 2006 and prepare for from the base year 2000 and prepare for the third national communication, so that we will know the historical emission from our inventory, where you can see that 7% of the emission is come from energy sector, and only 22% is come from non-energy sector, particularly on the agricultural sector. And while knowing the historical emission, we also use the guideline to forecast forward into the year 2050 to see how much of the inventory, how much of the emission will occur in case of baseline. This is maybe very common to your country to estimate the or to forecast the emission in the future, but in our country it's quite difficult because not so many people know how to forecast, and we have to use the guideline as the foundation to estimate the emission from that. And on top of that emission, on top of that forecast, the BAU, we also implement our policy, particularly energy policy, as 70% come from energy sector. So we have 4 important energy policy, like we call it PDP, which is Power Development Plan, Energy Efficiency Development Plan, which is EEDP, and Alternative Energy Development Plan, which is AEDP. So while implement the BAU and implement the estimate of the mitigation of that three national policy plan, we can come up with some volume of the mitigation that have the potential to be mitigated in the future. This will help our government to declare for the percentage of the target of the reduction in the future. Thailand is in the very few countries that did not declare the target yet, but we hope this kind of information based on the guideline can help the policymaker in Thailand to come up with some solution, where you can see in the graph here that I compare the BAU and also the OP is the policy official policy option, which means that with this we can reduce quite a lot. So actually it's not the problem of the greenhouse gas reduction, it's the problem of how the government can implement the fully effective of the policy. Okay, we also use inventory in the low carbon society study as well. You can see that we developed the 9-step approach to Thai low carbon society, and this will start with the survey and then inventory, and from the inventory we come to the technology selection, technology analysis, and going to the action plan implementation, and finally it's the full load. So these kind of low carbon society start from the inventory using the IPCC guideline. And with the analysis of this approach in the future to the year 2020, this can help the municipality like Mueang Klang at Rayong province can declare whether they would like to reduce CO2 5% in the next 5 years or 10% in the next 10 years as well. So you can see that the use of this guideline can help us to declare something, even though in the small municipality like this. For the industrial sector, we also use the guideline to estimate the carbon intensity. And I give you, sorry, it's Thai here. just the information that by using study the carbon intensity, we can differentiate the emission from the small, from this is the bigger cement industry, medium industry, and small industry, and see the how much of the carbon intensity different from that. This is also by the red one is from processes. Processes, and this one is from fossil fuel use, or let's say this is from energy sector, and the red one is from IPPU, and the third one is from electricity, which is demand side supply. So in general, we use to study the carbon intensity in the industry as well. And this can distinguish the difference between that. And before I came here, I heard something about the life cycle assessment. We also use carbon inventory in the it's in Thai. It's in the carbon footprint of some product in Thailand. We are agricultural country, so we produce quite a lot of rice grain and rice field. So we study the carbon footprint in the rice field. I just give you a picture, sorry, is in Thai. And then we come up with, this is the process of the carbon footprint. And we come up with the carbon footprint, but you can see that for the grain alone, the emission is pretty much come from the cultivation, where we implement the IPCC guideline and IPCC emission factor here. And if you look at the noodle, this is from the noodle, you will see that half of the emission is come from cultivation itself, and half is come from the processes, right? And this is how we estimate the carbon footprint from our experiment, start from the cradle to grave, right? Okay. Right, and yeah, this is how we do it. And we also compare the emission, but either it's from N2O or it's from methane. And we also by studying the inventory guideline, we also have capacity building. We have 9 researchers working on the inventory in Thailand. We have 2 postdoctoral PhD that used to work with the inventory team, 4 doctoral students, and 3 master students. We also sent our colleague to train as the ERT in UNFCCC as well. We're also working on the ALUS software and AIMS model, which is the NIES base, right? We also contribute to the WGIA workshop and SWGIA, which is on the waste treatment, and we help develop the K value in the solid waste or in the landfill. So that is one issue that we can contribute to the guideline to develop the country-specific or even the default value within the region that this can be help develop the completeness in the guideline. All right, we have a chance to training to Myanmar colleague about the greenhouse gas emission in the rice field as well. All right, so this is how we develop the greenhouse, let's say the emission factor. We divide it into region, which is quite different from the default value from the IPCC. So we develop that one. Improve the emission factor from the IPCC to be our own, and then we develop also our scaling factor and our collection factor by using our own knowledge. And this can be implemented in the region because we trained Laotian people, which is our neighborhood. You can see this one, all right? And then we also come up with the emission of CO2 and emission of methane and emission of N2O within the region. There you can see between Thailand and Cambodia. Actually, we have planned to set up the map like this in Vietnam and in Laos as well. So finally, the guideline can help us to see the situation of the emission in Southeast Asia, not only in our own country. Right, so very quickly, not to waste your time, I think the conclusion is that the guideline can guide not only the National Greenhouse Gas Inventory, that to be in the national communication or even in the biannual, we call it biannual update report, right? But also help us understand ourselves and lay down the necessary policy toward the low carbon society. And then I think there are still many information from developing countries that the situation are different from other countries, and learning from different countries' situation can make the better global greenhouse gas accounting through the guideline. Thank you very much.